to Fitness Focus with Chau, Hybrids podcast, where we talk fitness with everyone, from sports persons to managers to event coordinators to everything under the sun. And today we have with us a very, very special guest, female bodybuilder, IFBB Pro, correct?
Yes.
Kashma Maharaj. Kashma.
Hi, nice to be here.
How you-
I'm good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into a whole conversation about actual bodybuilder. We spoke to Physique people, Bikini people, and as I've mentioned a couple of times, different categories. For women, we have bikini, fitness, physique, and bodybuilding. We have fitness, physique, and bodybuilding, right? This is our first men's bodybuilding here, right? So I'm very excited about it.
I can tell.
What I actually would like to do, like a startup for all of our guests, how you a little bit about beginnings.
I got into sport as a kid because my parents, they were fairly active people. My dad, he was lifting bodybuilding.
Right.
And, they just used to have us around that working out.
Right.
So from the age of 7 or 8, I would go with my parents to present college and, just wash. Usually they signed me up for play. And I realized I was not the girl at like 7 years old. So I boycotted the ballet class across the road and I joined the martial arts class that my little was doing.
How old?
This was turning 8. I was 8 years old.
Nice place to start.
Yeah, it was awesome. They saw me. They knew I was, Keegan's sister.
Right.
So, come or whatever. They thought they were babysitting an hour. But when my parents came, I started to. I was like, I don't want to do ballet. And that's where I started with martial arts, and I continued, my life. Then later on in high school, I started with track. And that's really because of my mom. To this day, she does like running and walking events, marathons. So I started track and field. I was to college. That's when I really got into like gym, lifting, and that type of workout. So it was a whole new experience from training dojo or training track. I even did gymnastics, and you do some weight as like gym training.
Right.
And yeah, that whole fitness journey, from joining the gym, just to a gym goer, to being a gym addict, to just being a diehard. For some people, the addiction just, wanting to compete and really competing for, tennis all over the world. So it's been a journey and not one that I was going to be on. It's something that just happened as a place.
Right.
Yeah.
So all this tennis, martial arts, and then gym and stuff, something hits you along. I want to share what I know with you. You became a trainer, you did whatever. What made you decide to go down that road?
Well, basically, experience of going to commercial gyms and having many people there willing to help.
Right.
Because you may have gym, and he been nobody, so he didn't really have to train me. So I decided, instead of just going there and being clueless, I wanted to do the training for it. And I was actually through the newspaper, saw an advertisement, anyone can.
Right.
I was really, anyone can become a person. All right, and it. And I did, and I did the certification. I think it was like maybe a 6 course. And applying everything that I learned from the training to and I'm seeing results in my body very, very
right.
that experience and encouraged to get personal training and to practice or at least share what I knew with my friends, other people I'm with my, and I just natural for it.
Nice.
So
The next, this is where things to me, body. It is the biggest category. It is the most category. It is the most category. It is a challenging category. That's where you want to be.
exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Do and any sport was a challenge for me to see like how far I go, how I become, how fast could I become, how I become, how ripped could I become, because I see as a tool, also as a, you know, part of the journey was just transforming myself and seeing what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And again, you know, at the time when I there wasn't so many different categories. There was figure, there was you know.
Bikini came in.
Yeah, bikini
Okay.
came in late, and wellness, even physique came in years. Female bodybuilders, the kind of bikini at the time, figure girls, and then where you did like these very gymnastic aerobic type routines.
Right.
They were appeals to me, and I tried all of these sweet, but something that
You could get how
yeah, and you know, going in the gym, it's like seeing women. Okay, I started in the gym lifting 1 pound, and that was hurting me weak biceps, 1 pound in pain. I didn't want to go back to the gym, right? But you know, getting past that painful, uncomfortable period, started setting in. I would go in on his leg day and, you know, watching everybody in the gym. And it's like, all right, the most I seen a woman doing on legs is like 20 pounds. The most I seen a man doing on legs is, let's say, 200 pounds. By watching the woman leg and I watching the man leg. And I was like, but theoretically, the woman should at least be able to do as much as the man. So when I started training, I used to observe everybody, and my goal was to lift more than them. You know? Yeah.
Say pound for pound, women generally can have more powerful legs than men.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe that.
So, and for those who don't understand the challenge of the highest category, why I say it's the most challenging, there's a hormone difference between men and women. Testosterone actually helps to put on muscle and cut fat. Women have less of this. So for a woman to get, for Kashma to get where she is, she had to work twice as hard as somebody doing the same, a man doing the same category. So this is why it is so impressive, and this is why I am so intrigued by it, by your decision to go that route. You know, it is twice as hard for you as it would be for me if I decided to do it. You know.
Yes.
So, tell me what your journey has been like from the decision to compete, and I'm talking about even from figure days straight up to bodybuilding, and once you started the bodybuilding category, what has your journey been like?
Well, it has really been a journey in self-discovery more than a journey in sports. When I decided to compete, it was actually back in 2007.
Right.
I actually didn't compete that year because I couldn't get the time off from work. So I postponed it till 2008, and I competed at that time in figure, Trinidad and Tobago Bodybuilding Federation. I won that first contest. And I mean, even though it was just me and one other competitor on stage, this was a seasoned competitor. She had been winning across the Caribbean for years. So it was a big accomplishment for me, you know, to be a novice and to win that show. And for the rest of the year, I probably did a handful of other shows, and I won them all, with the exception of one, seniors. I placed fourth. But still, for my first year, having come out and done 5 or 6 shows, I was thrilled. I had all of these trophies. I had all of these experiences. But what was happening with me after my first year of contest prep and competing, instead of getting drier and smaller, which was my goal, I was actually getting more muscle, right? And my body was just continuing to build muscle, even though I was trying to get more streamlines to look like a figure competitor, a bikini competitor. So, after struggling to get my body to aesthetically look like a figure competitor, my coach eventually said to me, why don't you just make a switch over to the dark side and try bodybuilding?
Yeah.
He's like, it's coming naturally to you. This is what your body wants to do. You're strong as what, so try it out. You might like it. And that's why I made the transition into bodybuilding. And, the thought of it being unappealing, or women aren't supposed to have these big muscles, or women aren't supposed to lift these heavy weights, or God forbid a woman bench press over 200 pounds. Like, yeah, that was never like a thought or something to make me stop what I was doing, even to this day. To me, it was Mondays leg day, Tuesdays chest day, Wednesdays back day, Thursdays. There was no body part that a woman wasn't supposed to train, because as much as you have shoulders, I have shoulders. So why mustn't I want strong shoulders too?
Correct.
Or, why mustn't I want a strong deadlift too? Because I always thought muscles were very sexy. And I always thought the human body was adaptable. So yeah, while I might want to have big, huge muscles now, doesn't mean it's permanent. I can change that look. I could have smaller muscles, or I could go even bigger. It's my body. I could do what I want,
Exactly. Here's the thing, right? I second everything that Kashma is saying, because what I do with my clients, I have a lot of female clients, more females than male clients, and I tell them flat. And a lot of women don't understand this. Women have all the same muscles that men have. There's this concept, you see that over 200 pound bench press, that's actually when I was in the gym where I stopped, at about 225 or so. Right? So
it's a good benchmark.
It's a good benchmark.
Yeah.
So
I think I was at 205.
right, our producer saying he was at 205, you see? So this, for Kashma to talk about that, and there are a lot of women who think, well, I'm a woman, I can't do push-ups. I'm a woman, I can't do pull-ups. And all of these things are, to me, pretty...
That's old-fashioned thinking.
Yeah, it's old-fashioned thinking. It is unrealistic, and it is part of a larger lie that has been fed to the public, especially to women. I think that any man who thinks that a woman shouldn't have big muscles is probably intimidated by the fact that she might actually be stronger than him.
Right. Point.
My thing is, even if it's not your preference, it's also not your business.
Right. Yeah.
You understand? So saying that a woman shouldn't or should or whatever.
Right. But I mean,
out of place with
there has been a huge, I would say, transition in people's mindsets and acceptance.
Yeah.
Because, again, for me, I like sport from being a kid. And I remember seeing G.I. Jane with Demi Moore, right? I was watching it, let's say 11 o'clock one night when we used to get, we call it USA Up All Night. Here in Trinidad, we didn't have, cable. So
we're old enough to remember that.
right. So I was watching Demi Moore and G.I. Jane, and she had her hair shaved, and I thought she was still pretty. And she was wearing like these wife beaters and these cargo pants. And I specifically remember she was doing one-hand push-ups. And I was like 12 years old, and I was like, what? And at like 11 o'clock at night, I was trying to do one-hand push-ups. I know I fell on my face a few times, but I was able to squeeze out like one or two, and like that intrigued me, like just that moment. Yeah, it was a Hollywood moment. Maybe she had something helping her do it, but I was like, that's so hot. That is so cool. I think all girls should be able to do that,
And of course, you've mastered them now.
Yeah.
Lovely. So again, imagine that Kashma is talking about mastering one-handed push-ups, and a lot of women say they can't do two-handed push-ups.
Right.
I think again that is part of a bigger lie that's been fed to a lot of women and to men too. Women, you all can do any damn thing you want. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. Case in point.
Yes.
Right? To your question. Then go to an early commercial break and then come back to it.
Okay.
Right? So
Thinking time.
I want to talk about, as you got bigger and more muscular, you would have faced a certain amount of body shaming because of people's silly ideas.
Oh.
Would it be okay if you spoke to us about
I'll talk
that?
about it a lot. Yes. You all stay tuned.
Right? Alright, so we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. And then we're gonna come back and talk about body shaming.
Nice.
Have I ever been a victim of body shaming? I would say recently, as I've gotten into fitness, especially in the Caribbean.
Have I been a victim of body shaming? Yes, I have.
Have I ever been a victim of body shaming? Definitely yes.
I have been a victim of body shaming.
I have been a victim of body shaming, especially when I was pregnant.
Do pregnant women face body shaming or other types of ignorance?
Yes, I have been a victim of body shaming.
I have been a victim of body shaming.
Yeah, I've been a victim of body shaming quite often.
Interesting thing about body shaming is it doesn't take any one form.
I have been a victim of body shaming throughout my life, really.
Have I ever been a victim of body shaming? Yes.
Alright, we're back here with Kashma Maharaj. We're going to talk a little bit about body shaming. First of all, I already asked the question. I want to say what that was for those who, for my loyal viewers, you already know. For those who don't know, we actually have decided at Hybrid to take a stance against body shaming. We believe that, as I said earlier in this very live, how somebody looks is none of your damn business.
True.
Keep your opinions to yourself. Preferences are wonderful. Everybody has their own preference, but that's your preference, not a state of what someone should or should not look like, what someone should or should not do. What we have done, we have decided that we are going to do a magazine, our only print magazine for the year, where we have athletes, competitive and non-competitive athletes, doing tasteful nude photos, right? And as a way of saying that even those of us in the gym, well, we have Tema also, but she didn't do one of the pictures, don't worry, she won't be. But even those of us in the gym, even those of us working out at home, even those of us who are athletes who are in sports, who compete for a living or for fun, we also have to face certain negative comments about our bodies. So don't worry, you are not alone. And we are also out here making a statement against it. If you are interested, you can actually purchase your copy on our website, hybridcaribbean.com. Contact us via any of our social media at Hybrid Caribbean. That includes TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You can contact any of the athletes or anyone at Team Hybrid, and you can purchase your copy. And we also have a nice gift here for Kashma. We are going to give Kashma a copy of the magazine.
Yeah, thank you. Can't wait to be in it though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. You were the first person we booked for our next magazine.
Nice. Well, you hear that, huh?
So yes, your experience with body shaming.
It came from all different places.
Mm-hmm.
I lost friends, first and foremost.
Oof.
And this was before I even became my biggest, because I was no longer the person that they knew. I just no longer looked like that person or dressed like that person.
Seriously.
I mean, even my family didn't understand because, my mom is very supportive, very loving. She has attended many of my shows and is a fan of sport. But when I first started competing, as you said, bodybuilding, women, that's the most big, that's the biggest, the most vascular, the most ripped. So you lose fat everywhere. And women, we store fat on our face, our hips, our butt, and our breasts. So, you know, when I was down to less than 5% of body fat, I was looking like a skeleton almost with muscle.
Right.
You know, and I was not getting good comments. I was told actually that I was making myself ugly, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, these kinds of things. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, I would be walking around, and at the time, you would get the immediate comment, "Ooh, that's a man or woman," you know, or "Hey, like he's beat man," you know, like you know, they see you with your big muscles. Or if they saw me walking around with a man, it didn't matter who it was. It could be my boyfriend or my father. They'd be like, "Wait, hey, you gotta watch out. She's probably bully you when all you reach home, you know, she probably beat your tail." You know,
Okay, side note,
these-
I can't imagine someone as so spoken as you.
being right,
anybody.
but
yes.
the amount of it I heard walking down the street or just the stairs. Sometimes people don't need to say anything; they just stare at you, and when they do talk, so why you want to look so? So you don't find your arms too big, right? All them veins,
Jealousy.
right? You know, all them veins. Because yeah, I mean, even though I'm not competing, like, what's that, jealousy? Right, you know, or just a lack of understanding, and you know, whatever people don't understand, they want to judge, they want to be afraid of it. So I got it all over. I mean, even when I started competing internationally,
Right.
one of the first things that the officials told me was I would have to get breast implants, because as a female bodybuilder, I'm one of the very few that didn't have breast implants. And I chose that because I was like, well, as a muscular female, you won't have boobs. You know, and I was trying to do things in a kind of natural way, you know.
Right.
So that was the first thing they said. They're like, you know, you won't win, you won't go far, you won't have much of a career unless you get your boobs done. So it's like, if I have this much muscle, I look like too much of a man, but if I don't get my boobs done, I don't look like a woman. So it's like, you know, it's a lot of things you're trying to figure out. Am I trying to, you know, please the public, the John Does walking down the street? Am I trying to get a nod of approval from the IFBB? You know, as a young athlete, you don't realize, but these are the thoughts and the decisions you're making. And at the end of it, I wasn't trying to get approval from the public or the officials or anything. I just wanted to see what my body could do.
Right.
You know? So it hurt me a lot, because also when I started competing and in bodybuilding, Facebook was the main social media platform. So I would post pictures, and initially my pictures would get great responses and likes when I just looked like a bikini girl, you know. But then as the muscle became more and more and more, people will, you know, open about their dislike for it. You know, and they would say you look like a tranny, you know, are you trying to become a man? This, that, and everything you could think of. Every single day I was getting it. And it took me years really to get the thick skin to not break down and cry. Because there came a point in time where I did not want to do anything except go to the gym and stay at home. Because I felt like everybody was looking at me and saying something horrible,
Right.
either quietly to themselves, but for sure at least one person would say something loud to like hurt my feelings. And I just didn't want to do anything. My social life shut down, because I was like, well, my friends don't like this look, my family doesn't really understand it, so I stayed away from them. I stopped, you know, going to parties. I eventually even started dressing in just like hoodies and track pants to try to cover up. Whereas before, you know, I'm the kind of girl that liked to wear little short skirts and dresses. So I went through that phase. And I would honestly say it took me about 3 years to realize that I needed to be stronger than what those people's the words were. You know, it was just words, that I had to be confident in who I was and love what I was doing and love the process of it, you know, so that they wouldn't have me breaking down and crying and losing my confidence, you know. So I really had that mental transition sometime in like 2012. And I decided to go balls to the wall at that time and get to my biggest.
Right.
Before I started bodybuilding, I was like 100 pounds, wet with a heavy coat on. And I got to my biggest, which was like 185 pounds. I was thick, I was huge. I think I had bigger arms and legs than many guys, and I loved it. And then I decided, okay, I've gotten to the biggest. Now I want to, change my look. And I, dropped a little bit of size to do physique, which was now a new category in bodybuilding, in the IFBB. And I now live a very happy life where I love how I look, and it's not because I walk around thinking I look perfect. It's just I know I work hard for my physique, and I'm proud of the work that I do, and I'm proud of what I'm able to do.
Right.
So that's where my confidence comes from.
Well, we at Hybrid would like to say that we admire and respect all the work that you have put in to get the look and the feel. Because remember, when you work out, your body changes, not just in how you look, but in how you feel.
Yeah.
But you get the look and the feel that you want.
Yeah.
And we think that anybody who has anything to say about it could just not.
Right. Yes.
They could just not. They could just sit back and be sad that they're not as strong as you.
Well, this is the thing, like when I was going through that phase, I felt like I would have to respond to these people and defend myself or be equally as offensive as them or explain to them why I look the way I look. And now I'm past it. Like, if I get those comments, which I rarely do, because people, I think, are now accepting the muscular female, maybe not female bodybuilders, but, women working out.
Right.
People are accepting this more. It's a bit more trendy. And if people do make negative comments to me, I'm like, not today. I'm way too happy,
That's good. That's good. So let's move on a little bit.
Right.
You mentioned, didn't mention, but I got a lot of stuff from your social media, right? Your social media have, bodybuilding or whatever, but you also have, training, sorry. You also have combat sports.
Yes.
So let's talk about what combat sports you engage in now, as well as your journey from karate to where you are.
Where I am. Okay, so I started with martial arts, and I did martial arts competitively, on a Caribbean level. So I did a few tournaments. From there, I took a pause. I practice on my own, but I don't go to a dojo. I don't compete. I have a boxing bag and equipment and stuff wherever I live. But the other combat sports I do is boxing and wrestling, right? And how I came into wrestling was I had moved to the United States to compete. And at one of the shows there, the WWE was there. They had a ring set up. They had recruiters. They had a list of athletes doing just some demo matches. And when they saw me, one of the recruiters approached me and asked me to try out. So I did like the whole online application. And at first I was actually really scared to follow through with it. But, I was successful. So I started training with the WWE at one of their training facilities in Largo, Florida. And that's where I got into wrestling. So now I don't do it professionally. Unfortunately, I suffered an injury, so that ended any hopes of a professional career. But I do continue with, private wrestling. Yes. And boxing. Yes.
Nice. So were you able to do it professionally at all for any period?
No, I started training, and actually when we were selecting the roster, this was in 2018. Right. So I was training, we were doing our practice matches, and my training partner crashed on my shoulder, dislocated my shoulder, and crushed my spine.
Ooh.
So I actually wasn't even able to walk, talk, eat, do much for like several months. I had to do rehab.
And you're back in the gym lifting heavy stuff.
I was told at that time by my doctors that I should never squat, never deadlift, definitely never do anything involving putting my hands over my head. And I listened to them, but then I realized this could not be me. I'm not a person that can live a life being inactive.
Right.
So I kind of, I did physical therapy, and I sensibly got myself back into training. And I mean, now I'm lifting as much as I used to when I was my biggest.
Right.
My biggest at 185, and now I'm about 155 pounds. Yeah. So No more professional wrestling. No.
So, little background for those who don't understand the doctor's recommendation. A doctor would normally err on the side of caution.
Yes.
What I learned on my journey to being an instructor, a fitness instructor, a trainer, is that doctors, on their way to their MD, they do anatomy, they do their physiology, and then on their way to specialization, they forget 90% of what they learned because it's not relevant. They focus on the anatomy and physiology that they need for the specialization that they're going into, right? So oftentimes doctors may know on a certain level. The thing is, if you do have an injury and want to become active again, there's actually a specialization, sports medicine.
Yes.
You can go to a sports doctor, and their advice is more than likely, because they have actually trained specifically in sports injuries, because they are up to date on all their anatomy and physiology, etc., etc. Their advice is most likely going to be different from your GP, from your specialist in, whatever. They will more than likely recommend exactly what Kashma did on her own, that you rest for a while, then get into physiotherapy and see how far it takes you.
Yeah.
So again, if you really are interested in continuing a fitness regimen after an injury, the best thing to do is to go and see a sports doctor after you see your regular doctor. All right? So I want to get some training videos of you playing while I ask you this next question.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's look at squatting, because we just spoke about not being able to squat.
Right.
And deadlifting, because we just spoke about that also.
Yes.
And I want to know, what is your opinion on women lifting as well as women getting involved in combat sports?
I am all for it. Why is this a question?
Because a lot of women don't want to, for various reasons.
Right, yes.
And I personally think that for multiple reasons, both are very good for women. I've spoken about osteoporosis before. I speak about it often. I probably have spoken about it almost every podcast. For those who don't know, osteoporosis is the loss of bone density, of bone matter as you get older. Men get it, but women get it more. Women are more susceptible. They lose more bone density and stuff, which leaves your bones being brittle and more susceptible to breakage. And when you get older, you don't heal like you used to, so you really want to avoid broken bones. The thing is, lifting heavy has the same effect on bone that it has on muscle. It packs on more material, which literally counteracts the loss of material that you experience as you age. So for women who experience osteoporosis more than men, it is actually even more advisable that women lift heavy. And I'm not talking about powerlifter heavy. I am talking about heavy enough that you challenge yourself.
Exactly.
Right? So that's why I asked Kashma about it. And combat sport parts of it, I want to hear why you think women should get into combat sports, because I have a couple of reasons also.
I mean, first of all, just for basic self-defense, it's a good knowledge to have. Any woman, definitely. Also, the kind of confidence that you just feel from that ability to be able to hold your ground. I mean, yeah, the guy might be bigger and stronger than you, but if you know how to give him a good wrist lock or a headlock takedown or whatever, kick him in the balls.
Him in the balls.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. As a man, I am saying, kick him in the balls.
Exactly. It makes you feel safer. It makes you feel more confident. From the training that you do, you practice flexibility. You get an awesome cardio workout with things like boxing, wrestling, martial arts. The kind of conditioning that you get, that Bruce Lee body, if that's what you want, you get it. And then there's a lot that comes with also mental conditioning when you learn combat sports. At least from the schools that I've gone to, my instructors have always been responsible. So they teach you how to properly, I guess, manage stress and emotions so that you're not a bully with your ability. You know, you don't pick a fight or you don't necessarily jump into a fight at every occasion. So I think that also transitions well into helping women better filter emotions and stressful situations, you know. So I would recommend it for anybody.
So I don't need to say anything else because those are the things I was going to say. And those are the things I generally say to my clients on the podcast, everything.
Yeah.
You know, in an ideal world, nobody would ever have to think about having to defend themselves. Unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world. We live in a world where people get attacked. And unfortunately, women are larger targets than men in certain arenas. So, yeah, learn to defend yourself.
And I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a extreme situation, like a rape or kidnapping situation. Sometimes, as a woman, I will say, a man might put you in an uncomfortable position. You're in a nightclub and a guy passes by and decides to grab your ass. Oh, I'll grab your hand and I'll nearly break your finger.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So that won't happen again, you know?
A side note, though, of combat sports, the confidence you gain, the strength you gain, the awareness you gain, the way your mind changes because you think of situations differently actually helps in a lot of other situations. Things like doing a job interview. You are going to face that job interview differently after doing combat sports for a year or two. You know, some kind of martial art for a year or two than before you started, because you're going to see everything differently. You're going to read people differently. It's, you know, it really does help holistically, even though you may think of it just as, you know,
a physical thing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a short pause to say hi to some people. Jivan Sayan, I really hope I pronounced your name correctly, says hi. Real Morgan, thank you for tuning in. S. John, thank you for tuning in. And Aaliyah Alexander says, a beauty that lifts like a beast in the gym. Such an inspiration. Love you, Cash.
I know, Aaliyah. I love you too.
All right. Let's move on to something that is near and dear to our hearts, especially as we spoke about this magazine earlier. Modesty.
Which I lack.
Which you lack. Can we take another commercial break? Sure. Right, and then we'll talk about that just a little bit because that's an interesting topic for me in particular.
Right.
Welcome back. So, for those of you who want to learn to Latin dance, our very own producer and creative director, Anderson Mitchell, has classes down in Central in Chaguanas. You've got his number there in the ad there. Social media, you can actually check him out on Instagram at Bleed Art, BLEEDART. Check him out, talk to him, book a class. Even if there's just one class, I can guarantee you'll sign up for more once you do that first class with him. All right, so, look, Real Morgan, before we continue, Kashma is so beautiful and intelligent. Glad to watch her interviewed. And we are extremely glad to interview her. Real Morgan, thank you for your comment, and thank you once again for tuning in. So, on to modesty. I was going through your social media, as I do, research my interviewee a little bit. and you just don't have any modesty whatsoever.
No.
Which, by the way, is actually something I respect. As I was saying during the commercial break, I'm not saying you should walk around the road naked and all of that stuff. I'm just saying that there should be a certain comfort in your skin and who you are, and you have that. What did it take for you to get there? And
well, let me tell you, I was very shy, very insecure, and my confidence really was me facing fears. You know, they say face your worst fear so you overcome it, right? So again, you know, getting into bodybuilding, I was naturally small, naturally slim, right? But I always had people make fun of me about, you know, the size of my legs, about my height, call me thunder thighs. I had a little accident when I was about 7 years old where it was Diwali here in Trinidad, and I was lighting diyas unattended and my dress caught on fire. So the left side of my body from since I was 7 years old had 3rd-degree burns, you know? So I didn't like wearing short pants and skirts, and I really didn't like doing sports. But I used to do it because I was like, you know, I can't stay covered up. We live in Trinidad, I can't be walking around in long pants covered up, you know?
in this heat, right?
In this heat. So I did sports, but other than that, I didn't have confidence in other social interactions, right? And I didn't want to wear bikinis, I didn't want to go to the beach, I didn't want to wear dresses. So going to the gym was a way of me making my body look better, so I felt better, right? And then competing and stepping on stage in a tiny little bikini and a tan was me overcoming my worst fear of standing in my, you know, with my deformities or my things that I didn't like, to be judged on how I looked, you know. And as I said, my first year when I won, it did so much to my confidence. Now I am one of those people, I will wear what I want. Yeah, I like walking around naked, I do business, or in a tiny bikini or whatever, right? And it's because I tell myself now, I have one life to live. I am not going to, again, continue to live it based on other people's opinions and their limited beliefs, you know? So I want to have a whole life experience, and I want to enjoy doing every single thing. So, yeah, after bodybuilding, I became a whole lot more confident. I will wear a thong. I will wear short pants. Now I want to play mass in, what you say, a BBF?
BBF, Bikini, Beads and Feathers.
That band, that's me next year. You know? So for anybody who has body image issues, trust me, I understand. You know? Yes, people will look at me and be like, how could you understand? I do, right? Sometimes they say, you know, the people who are in the gym, they're full of themselves and whatever else, or, you know, it's not that. We all just unhappy with something about ourselves or the other, and we're just trying to fix it. You know, the important part is just don't stay in that unhappy mood. Focus on the process and focus on the progress, you know?
For those who want to know what Kashma is talking about, little short skirts and dresses, actually, one of our promo images that we used on social media has her in this little blue dress that's, let's just say it's a little blue dress. And she looks, what I think actually is the most beautiful thing about that is how comfortable and confident she looks. You know? She looks quite relaxed wearing it, and I think that's important. I think that is something that we can take away for ourselves in terms of understanding who we are, understanding what we have, and being confident and comfortable in that knowledge, you know? Alvin Gregory says, Dr. Jean Grey, awful.
Alvin is actually my training partner. You'll see him in some of the videos.
Yes. Let's get one of the videos of her and her training partner so we can see who Alvin is. You have a squat video and a bench press video.
Yeah, I have some cool people that I get to train with and some wonderful clients that I get to work with, and I'm
There we go.
There
That's
we go,
it
yeah.
right there. Lifting about 4,000. No, I'm kidding.
he just lift up all the weights in the gym.
4 plates at 415.
Yeah. See, now that's why I can't train, because it have no weights for me to lift. So yeah, I mean, it's real important when you see in the gym, you're surrounded by people, not just in the gym, but in any environment, people who bring out the best in you.
Yeah, definitely,
You know?
definitely. To be honest with you, last week we had Dexter Simon, and I had to ask him about pretty much that, his the importance of support.
Right.
And we were speaking specifically about his family, because as busy as he is, it sometimes takes him away from his family, and I know that's tough on them. However, because also he has found a way to find a balance, his family has given them excuse me, their absolute full support, and that has helped him to reach as far as he has reached as in bodybuilding, in training, etc., you know. So exactly what you said, surrounding yourself with the right people, surrounding yourself with people who can see your vision and support your vision is absolutely and completely important.
Yes.
You know, so I'm actually very glad that you were able to find people like that, especially a training partner like Alvin,
Yes.
who, as you said, likes to lift all the weights in the gym.
Yeah, that's all right,
I have one more question before our last segment, and this one is, again, near and dear to me. I've posed for some figure drawing, and what I saw when I went on your page is like a crap ton of drawings of you.
Right.
And I absolutely love it. And I just want to know how, I think that is one of the greatest honors for somebody who wants to draw you.
Yeah.
So I want to know, how does it feel to be immortalized in art like that?
Hey, let me tell you, the people that follow me, that I call my fans, I mean, I wish there was a better word, but they always bless me with some kind of artwork, and I love it. You know, I've seen so many different sketches. I mean, I've had people, send me and say they have me as their screensaver because, when they see my picture, it makes them want to go to the gym.
Right.
Or it makes them want to, stay to their diet. Or it makes them,
see that.
right?
That.
Or, I still have very big biceps. Guys might be like, oh, they see a girl with big biceps and it kind of inspires them to go a little heavier, you know? So I think it is the greatest honor, really and truly, for someone to see me as art and to appreciate what I do.
Only one that matters.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Before we do that, we have one question.
All right.
Something our own producers asked. What's your opinion on how superheroes are depicted in Hollywood, especially strong women like Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel?
When you say depicted, so I like the superhero movies that are coming out and the storylines. I do wish they would go from the cliche Hollywood-looking model actress into somebody more athletic to fulfill these roles.
Well, they CGI'd this girl to look a little bit bigger for She-Hulk, which is coming.
Right, yeah.
You know, so that's a plus.
Right, I get it. I mean, when Gal Gadot came out as Wonder Woman, I didn't really like her, but then her acting skills, I was like, okay. But I would really and truly like to see more athletic women showcased in these roles.
Yeah.
Because you see men as, you see men get big and fat for roles, you see men get small and skinny for roles or ripped. But, women always have to look a certain way in the roles,
You have to give credit again. I'll say this.
What's
as
that?
you're mentioning that, I have to give some credit because Marvel are the same people who cast Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
Right.
However, on the other side, they made this girl, I can't remember her name, bulk up to play Jane Foster in Thor.
Right.
They have Denai, who is already fit, muscular, strong.
Right.
As Okoye, who's the leader of the I can't remember their name, the Dora Milaje,
Right.
who are based on the Dahomey warrior woman. By the way, you all should look at it when it comes out. The Woman King. I have to say it looks very interesting and it's actually very cool to think about. But they do have a few. Marvel does have. They do have a few flaws.
Right.
I wouldn't say flaws, but women who don't look athletic.
Right.
But they do have a fair number of women who actually do, and even those that don't naturally look like that, they said, listen, you need to get in the gym. So like the same woman who played Jane Foster had to bulk up a little bit,
Yeah, so in terms of like just the physicality, I mean, I would like to see more athletic women, but the storyline is that, hey, I watch those movies and they give me goosebumps because I like to
enjoyable,
see, I like to see, especially like when the actress is actually doing the stunts. I was like, oh, that's kick ass, Black Widow, when you see, what's that?
Yeah, same Black Widow,
right.
ScarJo.
Right,
yeah, she was pregnant during 2 of the Avengers movies.
Yes, right.
And still did most of her own stunts.
Yeah, so I like that. I like, just a powerful woman, kind of dynamic role, the little attitude. I like that. Yeah.
Look how we segued into something else. So let's get back into the last rep.
Yes.
Just, quick question and answer segment, Nothing too fancy. You ready?
Already.
You sure?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, a lot of people say they're ready and they're not ready,
All
right, so as long as you say you're ready. Right, so first question. Favorite junk food?
KFC.
That was fast.
I'm a Trini to the bone.
Squats or deadlifts?
Deadlifts.
Nice. Legs or chest?
Legs.
That's the correct answer, folks, just so you know. If you're feeling down and you need a pick-me-up, what is your go-to exercise?
Leg days, so deadlifts for sure.
Deadlifts,
yeah, I like to bang up some weights and here go bang.
If there was one person in the world who you can either be trained by or train with, who would that fantasy workout partner or trainer be?
Wow. Kai Green.
Yeah, boy.
Man is a monster.
Absolute.
Yeah.
These guys put in the work, yeah? Favorite workout music?
Oh God, I listen to some trashy kind of music, to be honest. I just want something with bass to keep the beat, and that's it. Yeah.
That's it? Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, right now I listening. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say trashy, right? I like my little dancehall and them kind of thing. Yeah.
See. Cardio or weights?
Weights. Yeah,
I
man.
mean, yeah, duh, but still, had to ask it. Favorite sport, including any martial arts, including bodybuilding, including anything. What's your favorite sport to play?
To play?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, then definitely bodybuilding.
Nice.
Yeah.
Protein supplements or diet?
Diet for me.
And the last question, the most important question, the biggest question of them all. You ready for that one?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
TV or cinema?
Good
You
boy.
see? Once again.
I mean, yeah, Netflix and chill.
So TV.
Yeah.
TV it is.
TV it is.
So, we would love to say thank you Thank you, Fiona. And one last comment from S. John again. Kashma. So I just saw Fiona's name on something else. S. John, known her for years and easily the best investment I've made in myself. She's a real gem. Yes, I think in my short time talking to Kashma is a real gem. Happy to see her getting the recognition she deserves. Oh, hell yeah.
I think that's my client. Hi.
Nice. So, yes, Kashma. Thank you once again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your insights because, like I've said time and time again, it's really good to have an actual woman bodybuilder here as opposed to Physique, because Physique is great and all, but there are different categories and I like to hear from different categories. You're the first bodybuilder we've had. We've had Bikini, we've had...
I think I might be the only one in Trinidad right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think the TTBBF has bodybuilding at shows anymore. And for most of the Caribbean, I think I'm the only female bodybuilder.
The international body did actually cut out women's bodybuilding for a while and then they brought it back. So I didn't know if the TTBBF had brought it back.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well.
So I'm the dinosaur.
Then I'm lucky.
Yeah, boy.
I'm lucky to have the only woman bodybuilder.
The one and only.
At this moment in time. So I have to say thank you yet again for that. You know. And thank you to all of our viewers, the people who have tuned in while we were here, people who will tune in and watch later, the people who will listen to our podcast. Yes, we're available on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. For everyone who joined, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all our social media at Hybrid Caribbean. All right? And next week, I shall see you again.
Bye.